Hi, I'm Oji, and this is Gigi.
Happy holidays. So tonight we are not going to talk about New Year's resolutions.
However, we are going to talk about goal setting.
So stay tuned. It's going to be fun.
On this journey called life, you will definitely encounter the unexpected.
Sometimes you'll laugh, sometimes you'll cry, but in the end, if you have someone that will take your hand and walk through it with you, it makes everything better.
You get to make all kinds of discoveries along the way. Some about yourself, some about others. We made some and we just want to share it with you.
So we invite you to just listen, ask questions, make your own discoveries.
Pour your coffee, tea, or whatever you prefer. Settle in and let's talk about dating, courting, marriage, and life.
Oji and Gigi, life radically redefined.
Welcome back, guys.
So why no New Year's resolutions, you ask?
Why? Yes.
Right? Because there's studies that show that 93% of people by January 15th have abandoned their New Year's resolutions.
Guilty.
Right? So instead tonight, we're going to focus on goal setting, and we're going to talk about what goals are, why they're important, what areas of your life to focus on, how to set personal goals, how to set goals together as a couple,
Yes.
and the importance of celebrating your accomplishments.
All right, guys. So goals, the definition that we utilize is that they're specific, closed-ended, objective, and they are quantifiable. Now, the one thing that you want to make sure that you know about goals, it is that it is your commitment to yourself. All right?
That part.
So you make sure that those goals are actionable. So you take action and accomplish it.
Absolutely.
All right?
Right? Goals allow you to focus your energy, right? So when you define what needs to be done, and give it a deadline, it sets a fire in like the pit of your stomach where you're like, okay, I've got to go get this. And they give you direction, because if you know that you want to get from point A to point B, but you haven't mapped it out, you're just going to drive in circles, you're not going to get to your destination.
Right.
Same thing with goals. So that's why it's important to write it out. Name the steps and do the things.
Exactly.
Right.
Which reminds me of the story of Michelangelo.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So in Italy, whenever look into history, Michelangelo was one of the sculptors that was, I guess, contracted by Italy to create the David.
Yes.
And before he was contracted, there was several other contractors.
No, it wasn't several other contractors contracted to do the David. It was they bypassed that piece of marble.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. No, because I know what you were saying, but the way it came out was like,
Okay.
They were contracted.
But
And
so David was the contract. But so he saw this piece of marble that everybody rejected, almost like the cornerstone.
Mm-hmm.
So
If you know, you know.
He saw through that marble the image that he could create through that marble. So days in and out, he just chipped away. And long story short, he created David. And everyone was asking, how were you able to do that?
Because remember, that piece of marble was like undervalued. They thought it was garbage.
Exactly. What he did, he said that it was already in the marble. He just had to chip away at it to bring it out.
Right? And that's basically that's you. That's all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's the mindset,
Mm-hmm.
guys, the mindset.
You have to be your own Michelangelo, right? Because people will say things to you that make you doubt yourself. You got to throw that stuff away. You have to bet on yourself, and you have to know that greatness is in you. It's on you to bring it out. So this was just like the mindset shift that, we want you guys to focus on, getting these goals.
Exactly. Because one of the things that we've also hear all the time, and a lot of people believe, is that relationships are just it. You get in the relationship, is done, and you don't have to work at it anymore, and it's wonderful, and especially in Disney movies. This is real life. So there is a lot of work, like you chip away at the rough edges of the stone so you can bring the relationship David.
That's right. Oh, the relationship David. Oh my gosh. All right. So that was beautiful.
Thank you.
Said that. I love you. All right. So we're going to stop it. we're going to talk through this, right? But what we want you to do is go to our website, because what we put out there is a goal setting workbook, and it's a mini version of what we offer our one-on-one clients, and it is a free download.
And she's amazing. She was able to miniaturize the one-on-one work we do with our clients.
So, because it's so important. So we ask that you please take advantage of everything that we put out on our site. Some of it will be free. Some of it will have a cost associated, but all of it will be valuable. Yeah. So as we're talking about goals, what areas of my life should I focus on when I'm looking at these goals?
Well, those are good questions. And what we found is we specifically focus on 7 different areas. And I'll start with the first one: social and family relationships, career and education, money and personal finances.
Yeah, that's
a big one. Physical health, recreational and leisure. EYL University, big ups. Also, life responsibilities. Mental health, emotional health, and spiritual well-being, and giving back to society.
Right. Like those are, like for us, I feel like those are all important, but everyone's going to place different weight on the various categories, and that's understandable.
Exactly. So in our workbooks, and when we work with others, we give them a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being exceptionally well and extremely low.
1 being extremely low. Okay.
All right. Anything else I need to cover on this?
No, like if you downloaded the worksheet, you see where you're going to look at the category. You're going to ask yourself, like, seriously, honestly, like, how do I rate this? Am I exceptional in this area?
Or extremely low.
Exactly. And you just, you rate that aspect of your life.
Okay. So now we start into the actual goal setting. We use the SMART goals. Will you describe the SMART goals?
Sure. So SMART goals, and they've been around for a while.
Yes.
Everyone
we just utilize them.
Yeah. Everyone just talks about SMART goals, but they're specific, they're measurable, they're action oriented, they're realistic, and they are timely.
Okay, so it starts with specific, guys. All right, so if your goal is specific and clear, it covers the 5 W's, which are what, when, where, who, and why.
Right.
Not in that order, though.
Right, but like, what do I want to accomplish, and why is it important?
For example, let's say that you're trying to learn a new language. So let's say if it's
Spanish.
So specifically, that's what you want to learn. So you're going to plan how to speak Spanish, and
right. So your goal, like, if it's me, my goal isn't just want to learn Spanish. It's specific. Like, I'm going to set aside 2 hours a week for the next 52 weeks. I will also take an online class or have a tutor that I check in with once per month, so that we can check milestones and verify if I'm on track to reach fluency within the 52 weeks. So it's that specific. I'm giving myself deadlines within my goal so that I can track my accomplishment.
And utilizing SMART, we did specific, now measurable.
Yes. So why is it important to have measurable goals?
So that you know exactly where you measure from the time that you start to the time that you're trying to end.
So it's like, basically, this is, how do I know that I've succeeded? right? That's the real question that your measurability has to answer. So even using the language scenario, like the one-on-one mentoring is going to keep me on track to know that I am on track to be fluent in a year.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. Or am I falling short? Right. So measurably, I should know my verbs in Spanish, and if I don't, then I am lacking. I need to work a little harder.
Right.
Or if I am beyond that and I can use it in the sentence, then I know that I am on track and I'm pushing myself and to be even better than where I am.
Right.
Okay.
What's next?
That would be, so with the specific, measurable, not action oriented.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. So basically that is the steps to reach your goal.
Right. So like we talked about, you have the goal, right? Not just I want to speak Spanish fluently, right? You have, I'm setting aside X amount of time, blah, blah, etc. like we talked about. But within that, there are things that you have to do, right? There's actions that I have to take, which means like I have to purchase the language lessons.
Exactly.
I have to contract the tutor.
Exactly.
I have to actually put in the time studying. So it is really about me doing these things, right? These tasks, all action.
Exactly.
What's next, sir?
And then it falls into the R in SMART, right?
Right.
And so those are realistic. So let's say that we're still using the same language scenario. Prior to that, you've never spoken Spanish and you've never had the desire until then. So realistically, it's going to take a little while. You can't say, okay, by next week. Well, you might be a genius, but for most of us, by next week would not be feasible.
Right.
So
that's like when we were talking and I was like, that's like me saying I want to be an astronaut next year.
Yes.
Right? Like that's not a realistic goal. Like I can watch a show about NASA, but all the steps that are in between me sitting on the couch and me being an astronaut are just not realistic for me, and like really in any time frame if you consider my age. So, but realistic also means that the things that your goal, the steps within your goal are in your control, right? So the whole idea of like that using your language scenario, everything is on me. I am studying. I'm setting aside the time. I'm contracting, right? So the more realistic your goal is, the more you are in control. And that like when you set your goal, that's what you want. You want something where you control most of it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now we're going to go to the timely, the T in SMART, right? So those are specific deadlines that you're trying to accomplish at a pattern. So just like measurable, there also is time. Measurable is where you should be. Time is when
when it has to be done.
Exactly.
Right? It's your deadline, right?
Exactly.
So if you have a goal without a deadline, it's just a dream. It's a fantasy, right?
Yeah.
And that your timeline, your deadline is really what is going to push you forward. Like for instance, our friend Kelly has an exam that she is studying for, and she has to take this exam by December 16th, right? So it's something that she has a lot of knowledge in, but there are things that she has to work towards.
Prep for it.
Right, exactly.
All right, so right here, we're just going to cut for a commercial break, and you're going to learn a little bit about our virtual vision board.
Party.
All right, guys.
Don't forget the party part.
The party. Woo!
So we'll see you back here in about 2 minutes.
Thanks for tuning in to Oji and Gigi. Be sure to visit our website, ojiandgigi.com, and place your order for our Date or Dare cards.
You want a long-term relationship, but is that true for the person you're dating?
Ask those deep questions and dig way beneath the surface to uncover who you're sitting across from.
And we wouldn't be us if there wasn't an element of fun in this deck.
So, Date or Dare.
Comment, like, and subscribe to remain connected. Hey, G's!
Thanks for tuning in into Oji and Gigi. Be sure to visit our website, ojiandgigi.com, and create your account to access your free vetting checklist.
If you are in a relationship currently, the checklist may affirm that your relationship is on the right track.
That's right. And may also spark some conversation to get you where you want to be.
So comment, like, and subscribe to remain connected.
So you're single, but are you sure you're ready to mingle? We have just what you need to answer that question.
Our dating readiness assessment is on sale for $10 on our website, and it's available for immediate download.
You owe it to your current self and your future self to take a deep dive into who you are, who you want to be, and who you want to spend the rest of your life with.
So visit www.ojiandgigi.com and click shop to get your copy.
The new year is just around the corner, but we are not setting any New Year's resolutions.
That's right, OG. We are anti-New Year's resolution. Instead, we are all about designing your own amazing life, starting whenever you want.
And that's right. For a limited time, our goal-setting workbook is available for a free download at ojiandgigi.com.
So instead of setting a New Year's resolution, we invite you to make it your goal to radically redefine your life.
As we always say, be blessed and be a blessing.
Welcome back, guys, from commercial. Now, you've just learned about smart personal goal setting, and we're going to get into
couple goal setting,
Yes.
right? So like if you're booed up, you're married, or you have a fiance, or, you know, you're in a relationship and you want to start building a foundation and look at like what you can accomplish together. We're going to talk about how do we do that as a couple. Guess what?
we use the same techniques.
Exactly. So the same categories that you looked at before, social and familial, education, financial, all of that, you're going to analyze all of those areas together. You're going to weigh those categories on the 1 to 10 scale. And then where you are deficient or where you want improvement, you are going to write a SMART goal to address that, right? And this is, it's a commitment to yourself individually, but it's also a commitment as a couple.
So accountability.
Yes, yes. Okay.
All right.
All right. So do you want to talk about our little goal endeavor, like when we looked at social and family relationships?
Well, really, it was a deep dive for you.
Yeah.
I think you should.
Okay, fine. Okay, so when we did our goals, right, we looked at social and family relationships, and we rated ourselves a 5, and that was primarily because of me. I am an introvert. Like, I love solitude. COVID has been somewhat of a haven. JC, on the other hand, or OG, on the other hand, he is the biggest extrovert you will ever meet in your entire existence.
I might not be the biggest, but I do love being
out and about town, talking to everyone. No one's a stranger. That's him. So he really loves being outside, and he loves like interacting with our families and going to functions. And it's just been.
That's what OGs do.
It's been difficult, right? So as a couple, we've committed to being more intentional.
Yes.
Now, COVID is still here,
of course,
and we had to discuss ways in which we could be more intentional and be more present.
Exactly.
Even in times of COVID. So there's going to be more FaceTiming, more Zoom meetings, like check-ins, things like that with our family. But individually, I had to make some commitments about reaching out to family. Like I know that I have family that doesn't really like to text, so I need to be intentional about calling. I need to be intentional about sending letters, So my commitment to myself and to our relationship was that I was going to send 5 cards or letters by mail a month to different people.
Yeah, and wow. This episode was information heavy, but well worth it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We defined goals.
Yes, we did. We also discussed the importance of goals.
right? We talked about the different areas in your life to focus on.
There was 7 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
We had a discussion about not only how to set personal goals, but how to set couples goals.
Exactly.
And?
Of course, the importance of celebrating every accomplishment.
Absolutely.
So you could use our idea, the successful jar.
Mm-hmm. Or gratitude jar.
Gratitude jar. Or your own.
Right. Come up with you could like find a cork board and just stick notes on the board. Do something though to remind yourself that things aren't all horrible and you are making it through life and you are accomplishing things. Yeah. Just don't take those accomplishments for granted.
Don't take them for granted, guys.
Right. So as we tell you all the time, life, like relationships, require work. And part of that work, part of reaching where you want to get to is setting goals. So you want to do that for yourself. And then if you're in a relationship, you're married, you want to do that as a couple as well.
Exactly. And I think I've touched up on not listen to those voices that are just the negative draw. Mm-hmm. Edify each other.
And edify yourself.
Right. Exactly. So you want to make sure that you tell those inspirational and just
affirmational things to yourself.
Yes.
Speak to your consciousness.
Exactly.
Right. So a dear friend of mine, Lourdes, you know who you are, girl. She posted on Facebook the other day this amazing passage from Theodore Roosevelt, and I'd read it several times before, and it's super inspirational. So I'm just going to share it with you, and I want you to just think of yourself, think of the things you want to accomplish, and even think of the naysayers in this, right? So it is not the critic who counts. It is not the man who points out how the strong man stumbled, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred with dirt and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs but comes up short. And guess what? Coming up short is fine, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasm, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows high triumph, and at worst, if he fails, at least while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with the cold and timid souls who neither knew victory nor defeat. Guys, let your face be marred with dust and sweat and blood. Get in the arena. Don't sit on the sidelines. Do this thing called life with intentionality and with purpose.
That's right. And guys, oftentimes, not all, but a few of us have been told that, you're inadequate. You're not
smart enough.
You're not good enough.
You don't have this skill. You can't do that thing.
Exactly. It is not true. All right. We often go back to the basic instructions before leaving Earth.
The Bible, right?
And we are told that our Creator created us perfect.
Right. So you want to set your goals. You want to build your dreams and ignore the noise from the people standing on the sidelines.
Exactly. And you will find a lot of those resources on www.ojiandgigi.com. Right. Check out our services. Check out what we have.
Download your goal setting workbook, guys. Just get started. It's time that you design your life. You do not have to wait until January 1st.
No.
Right? There's no start date to set a goal.
Exactly.
So just set your goals. Be intentional about your life. Tackle the thing and ignore the noise.
Exactly. So no more New Year's resolution. Let's start.
All about goal setting.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So, guys, again, I am Oji, and this is Gigi. Until next time.
Be blessed.
And be a blessing.
Dare greatly and live a life radically redefined.